Yeah. You know what it is? It's bump time. That's what we used to say before we got ready to spar in really, really big venues, places that we do our smokers. It's time to bump. And right now, it's time to get it popping on the fight show. We are live. Welcome to all of my people who are getting it in, those who are working, who's watching on the job. That's right. Sneak off because this one is going to be fire. We're going in, and hopefully you got your popcorn ready and you're ready to answer some questions because what we're going to do is involve our fans in this one. And that's the ones that I like the most because we give you the perspective, but at the same time, we get to find out how you operate up here in the brain crane donium. What's up, people? My name is Eric A. Bradley. For those who have never watched the show, thanks for tuning in. But boy, you're late to the dance. This is what we get it popping on the fight show. So we got a great rendition today. Tyson Fury versus my man Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, going against the slickest, the quickest gypsy to ever face and walk the planet in the sport of boxing at the heavyweight division. That's what we're going to cover. We're going to go in depth. And over here, we're going to show you how we getting it in by staying on course today with our overlay, which will guide us through and allow you to stay on task. For those of you who are going to be watching after the fact, you see over here, we have our recap at the top. These are the topics. Recap. Let me point over here. Up here, bing, recap, trivia, fan Q&A, and then we're going to have a segment from the Real Fight Doctor. He's going to go into the studio and break it down. That's what we do in the sport of boxing at Master Boxing for you guys. So check in. Let us know where you're from. Let me see my guy, Paul. Good day, mate. Out here in Australia, training his son. He's a member of the top trainer program in the School of Boxing. And without further ado, it's time to box, everybody. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the content that we're going to get into and some of the things that we're going to break off. We got another brother, watch from Zambia MMA. What's going on, Jack, my man? Welcome to the fight show. We're getting it in. We do one every once in a while when it's called for it, but going in and talking about two of the most transient fighters, one of the biggest power, one of the slickest, quickest minded athletes that we've seen in boxing. It's hard to even measure him up in history because he's really doing such a great job, but he's still writing his book. And speaking of writing his book, we've actually bought his book, The Gypsy King. He's a special human being. So is Deontay Wilder. So thanks again, man. We make sure you drop your questions that you have down here as we break into the trivia part of the sector. We are going in. We're about what we're going to do is go into this recap, the last fight where Deontay Wilder came out with his suit on first and foremost. This was the second one. Let me rewind it to the beginning because one of the things that I wanted to do is give some great perspective. And there are a lot of people who are watching for the very first time and they don't understand why we put the shine on boxing. I did a 3-decade tenure in the sport of boxing. And now what we're going to do is show you what that knowledge and that experience does. But when Deontay Wilder took the Tyson Fury fight, he called him off the bench. Let me see. I got a couple of other couple of Mumir Stars. What's up? What's up, man? Where you representing from? Tell us where you from, brother. Anybody, if you drop your name down in the comment box, let us know where you're from. Anthony Gambita. What's up, Anthony? Cleveland, Ohio. You in the house representing again. My man, it's good to see your face, man. Beautiful young lady on your hip. It's always good to see what makes a man stronger, wiser, slicker, quicker of feet. Who he has beside him. I love the boxing glove emojis, man. I'm about that life. So, look, after we do this trivia, man, we're going to give whoever does well in this trivia a free month inside of the School of Boxing, the Top Trainer U program. So if you are a personal trainer that works in boxing, if you're a boxing trainer slash or coach, this will be a great time to put on your thinking cap and give us some of those good feedback answers that we got. I think we have 4 questions that we're going to bullet you about boxing trivia, things that you should know. And if not, you better get on your game, because it does matter how you operate when it comes down to your boxing IQ and the history of boxing. So let's keep on moving, and we'll get everybody else as we go down the line. And Tune Anthony, that's my guy. Domas, let us know where you're from. Check in where you're from. Let us know where you at. So we're gonna recap the fight. The first fight, it was a very everyone was waiting for the big power. And I'm going to explain something about power to all of you who are from the boxing game or from the outside. You're learning, you're just getting in, or you've always thought you knew it until you got in. And then you realize it's an entirely different beast, because it is. If you're in boxing, you understand when you see a boxer's 2 matchups, what you're going to learn about it is that styles make fights. And later on, we're going to break it down in the fight studio with the real fight doctor. And he's going to really weigh in on how this all looks and pick out certain particular points within each of the fighter's characteristics. And that segment alone can carry the show. And just note that that segment alone will be on its own tomorrow, live on Master Boxing page. So if you're not a subscriber and you're watching out on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, because it's worth the wait. So the style of Deontay Wilder is a power puncher. Now, let me take you back to this. Tyson Fury is a slick boxer, big guy. So they basically switch roles. Tyson Fury, stylistically, should be the guy who bullies the smaller guy. But when anyone knows boxing, you don't walk into power unless you understand how to suffocate it. And suffocating power is a very serious term to take under wing, because if you don't understand the offensive prowess, you have to understand the ability to be defensively responsible whenever you're fighting against another foe. And they have strategists in their corner, especially when they have experienced strategists that you don't play around with, no matter how much a coach has been around boxing and they think they know boxing. Until you've reached the upper echelon of levels, meaning all the way as far up to the green belt, you don't know what's happening. And especially if you're not from the sport of boxing, that's just like saying I watch SpaceX take off every year. That does not mean you're an astronaut. And it is that far of a gap. Watching boxing and being inside of boxing is different. So when you have strategy, these guys have to be clear on what it is you need to do and why do you not need to do particular things at particular times. So the recap is, I felt like a lot of jabbing to the body, setting up right hands up top for the smaller fighter in Deontay, jabs up top and right hands to the body. Why? Because that breaks down the larger man. He does not want to be in a marathon, especially since he had been off for years prior to that. When you look at the styles, when it comes down to the people who are in the sport, like Deontay Wilder's trainer was not very experienced, but Mark Breland was. At this level, you need repetition. I don't care if you box. I don't care if you were the actual trainer of the boxer, not the boxing coach, but the personal trainer, the guy who got him in shape and stuff. When you're in that corner and the strategies must come down, you have to understand that takes muscle memory. So with a bad game plan, Deontay Wilder managed to drop Tyson Fury twice and that was sheer power, a little bit of Tyson Fury fatigue. He hadn't been in big fights in a long, long time. He hadn't fought seriously since like 2016, 2015, 16, when he fought against Vladimir. So let's take it all the way back. What do you know and understand about the sport that's so profound? Let's see if we got a good question or two out here. Style make a fight. I'm following. Yeah, good deal. That's right, Jack. It's important. What's up, man? Coach, that is. It's good to see you, Edwin Santana from the Bronx. Beautiful work, man. Beautiful work. Welcome on board, man. We got good people. I hope you all are taking this in seriously because it's so much that I want to divulge. A lot of coaches that are, in the game now, they question, why do I educate you all? Because it's all supposed to be secrets. And that's the problem. I'm trying to do my job to make teachers. Teachers have the profound knowledge. They don't do guesswork. I don't care how much you have your own perception of something. Boxing will teach you the truth, and it'll make you speak the Bible, because those are some humbling experiences. So when it's all said and done, we got a couple of seconds to go off until we go into our trivia. But the Tyson Fury approach showed him one thing, as I had Jack Reese on the show after he allowed the count to go on. And you can weigh in about the lone count or Jack Reese's decision to basically make an epic decision in boxing history by allowing Tyson Fury to get up and fight. But he had the checkpoints. He understood how to really measure a fighter's well-being when you are inside of the boxing ring and you are really hurt. So Jack is experienced in the medical side of things. He understands they do medical protocols. So he did the checklist. Yes, it took more than 10 seconds for Tyson to actually get up. But at the same time, he has to assess a lot of things. This is a world championship fight. You don't want to be the cause of a guy losing the fight based upon a decision that you did impulsively. So we talked on the phone outside of that show, and he said the exact same thing. Dude's a real dude, and he's from New York as well. Now he's out in Cali doing his thing and being a part of boxing and giving you all pearls through me to make sure you understand how to get it right. So if you're coaching, this is why I'm doing it. Because the game need leaders. The game need people in what we call liaisons to guide them to their next orifice in the sport without making those decisions and those bad choices. Because boxing, there are a lot of painful learning lessons. Some that can drive a man to drink and do drugs and lose everything he got. So if you ever think about what goes on with these trainers and these fighters or these fighters circles after these losses, you better think again and understand there's a bigger reason why I do what I do outside of our company. It's just a thing. If I have something to give, I'm going to give it. So that's where we are right now. And so Tyson Fury, bonjour, de la France. What's good? Funk boxing, fun pop funk boxing. Special shouts out from the fight show. Good to see you, brother, over in France. Beautiful. I love that. I'm going to have to learn French from you. I'm going to have to connect with you. Hopefully you win the trivia. You can get into the Top Trainer U program for a free month to learn from some of the greatest minds in boxing from the deepest boxing lineage to date. We are so fortunate to be able to give. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to test you guys' knowledge. Of course, the second fight, I got to just do a 30-second recap. The second fight, it was obvious what happened. Tyson Fury came out and brought in old school coaching and got him back to his grassroots and decided to go and knuckle up. And he walked right through Deontay, regardless of whatever the excuse was. What happened, happened. You can't erase that from your mind. Tyson Fury came in there and shocked the entire sports world. And it was an epic moment in sports once again. One lucky punch. Joe Pop, elaborate on that, bro. Because there ain't no such thing as a lucky punch in boxing. If it lands, you've been practicing it. You don't really throw shots, and that's people who don't really live the boxing life. So take note, brother. I'm trying to give you knowledge. Our admin ban people off the page every day, at least 10, for just saying crazy stuff. And they're not listeners. They just want to make their own points. So don't be that guy. But at the same time, we want to hear your opinions, but say it in a professional way, because this is a family show. We're not playing into the social media, stuff. We don't try to just entertain for entertain. This is real. We do this for real. So thanks. Next thing, what we're gonna do is get down here to the trivia, and I'm gonna test you guys' boxing cachet. Let's see what it is. And make sure you have your questions ready. If you have questions about the fight, if you have questions about offense or defense, or if you're trying to get into the training business, or if you're becoming a fighter, let us know kind of where you stand, what ails you, what's keeping you up, the questions that really bother you that you don't really know how to get the answers to without being, searching social media. You can ask, drop it down in the comment box. We got you covered. All right. So I'm gonna put our trivia up here on the screen. We're on the second thing. Trivia is, who was the largest heavyweight in boxing history? This should not be super hard, but I needed to test your boxing cachet. And after the show, you'll know if you won, because you'll get a direct message, instant message, and in the comment box. So, who was the largest heavyweight boxer in history? Who was the largest heavyweight boxer in history? And of course, if he was heavyweight, he was the biggest because he's the heavyweight. Somebody said, Demetrius said, Butterbean. Oh, yeah, if you're talking weight, you might be right on. He fought David Hay. He was really, oh, good one. He fought Holyfield too. Good one. He's actually 7'4", and bingo. Very good. I don't know how to spell his name, but good one. Very good. And he was no real world beater. Hey, I think your words are being cut off. You must be over on YouTube. But Demetrius over on YouTube, thanks for tuning in on the YouTube channel, brother. Good to see you. My man. Yeah, I want to get a couple of good, hungry brothers into our Top Trainer U program over in the School of Boxing, because we have some profound stuff for you and some real deep learning to drill through your brain cap, buddy. Next one. On to the next question. Where did that come from? Sorry, didn't mean to do that one. Next question. All right. What city was Muhammad Ali born in? What city was Muhammad Ali born in? Please don't get this wrong. And if you're from the School of Boxing and you get this wrong, you're on suspension for a week. No boxing education, no workshops, none of that good, profound weekly morning conversation. No entry into the most extensive boxing portal in the game today. Let me see. Give me some good answers, man. Bam, I'm gonna go right to it. Looked like Ty False is on his gizame. Demetrius won again. He was first. Let me see what somebody else. The Russian Ruiz. Real good, Charlie. I like these answers, man. We might have 2 new members in our fraternity this week. Really big guy. He was a huge dude, man. He was bigger than Andre the Giant, the wrestler, on many levels, man. You got to respect big. You think Tyson Fury was big. This dude was a whole head taller than Tyson Fury. That means he's shoulders above Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury 6'9", walk around easily 300 pounds, which he said is what he's going to walk into the fight. I can't wait for you all to see the segment by the Fight Doctor. Let me take that back. The real Fight Doctor is going to be fire. You got to keep it locked in for minute number, I think, 8, 16, 16th minute. Man, it's going down. Good one. Let me see. The next question is, and this matters. Sorry. Who owned the most knockouts in boxing history? Fight fans, boxing aficionados, don't get this wrong. You don't have to get the number right because the internet don't even have the number right. But who had the most knockouts in boxing history? And don't even say Mike Tyson. It's not even close. Who owned the most KOs in boxing history? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're late to the dance. Drop your comment anyway. I know you're probably watching late tonight or tomorrow. Don't matter. Who owned the most knockouts in boxing history? Let me see. I like to see what you know. Ooh, Cats is on Google. I know you are. Ace Johnson, that was good, man. You were a little late to the dance, but if you answer at least 3 questions, that's going to give you admittance, and we'll make sure that we got you covered. Oh my gosh, Ty. Jack Johnson, no. But he was great. He was definitely great. Sugar Ray Robinson, nope. Not even great. What's so crazy is this dude had more knockouts than Sugar Ray Robinson by at least 30. Now that is some serious stuff. I'm going to give you guys Billy Bird. Nope, but good answer. I see we got some boxing now. Oh, Carlos Zarate. Nope, Anthony. Man, it's good answers, yo guys. I might have to give you Julio Cesar Chavez. Now, for younger generations, you think that, but he didn't even have as many fights as this guy has knockouts. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Man, 2 people put Julio Cesar Chavez. But that's a good guess. Mayweather. Man, who you talking about? You talking about the Black Mamba Mayweather? That's the only one that had a lot of knockouts. But no, not even close. The correct answer is, I'm going to put it on the screen, create a banner for it, just for that. And I want you to all take heat and go Google them, pull them up. Archie, the old mongoose Moore, not just Archie Moore, with 141 knockouts. Archie Moore, good chance if you got in the ring with him, you got knocked out. And if you rematched him, you probably got knocked out again. He had the sweetest science of boxing in boxing history. His downline consists of Tommy Brooks, George Foreman, and everybody that fell up under him. He's in a circle with the greats like all of the Philadelphia, the Benny Briscoes, and he just impacted boxing. And Muhammad Ali's from his downline. He taught Muhammad Ali a lot of the verbal Cassius Clay excerpts. He gave him the understanding on how to utilize that to get his points across and get what he wanted in the sport. Because of course, Archie Moore was an advocate for people more than just the boxing mogul and the knockout king, as we call him, because he had more knockouts than anybody. And with that being said, I was nominated to be over the Archie Moore Foundation and take over and look over and be and cover and be responsible for as the family's brain trust. And so special shouts out to J. Marie Moore. Love you, sis. And like I said, there's just no other thing to say other than if that was what he wanted. If he wanted that bravado, he would have been that dude. But he was the one to come up with stuff um, that really created those creative ways to get people to fight by calling out people like Rocky Marciano. And even though he lost to him in his later days, his objective was to lay down a platform and to be an advocate. So he taught George Foreman. He taught all of these guys. He invented the turtle shell, which mutated into the peekaboo style. You can't take this away. This guy was an absolute mogul. Oh, mongoose, Anthony. I like that. I like that. We got to get you. Larry would kick my butt for not knowing that. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure Larry would have a title fight till he was. Yeah, man. Look, Charlie's getting in. That answer, man. Yeah, all of you should have known that. And that's the thing. How can you know where you're going if you don't know where the game came from? Because the story of Archie Moore is insurmountable. It's none that can match it. This dude had the most epic story. He lived through 5 generations of boxing. He fought through 3 of them, then led champions and the greatest fighter ever. you know Enough said. So imagine what his story is like. So I get an opportunity to get it firsthand. So I feel fortunate, and that the family thought enough of me and what I'm doing in the sport to put me in that position. So special shouts out to the Moore family, and believe me, they are definitely honorable people. Now, after the fan Q&A, let me know if there are any questions that any of you have, because I got to go to one of the questions that was popped up on our timeline and asked the messenger was, how long does it take to become a pro fighter? And with this question, I have to I got to take my time. Let me put it up so I can give you give you the right answer. All right. The biggest thing, and I don't want you all to take this light. I want you to take this serious, and at the same time, understand why we do this, and the bigger things that it takes to become a fighter isn't watching video clips and learning skills. There is an entire process around a boxer, and even if you're 8 years old and you're fighting for the very first time, you got to realize that there's a process of events that are happening at any boxing event. You have to learn how to eat for making weight and managing and understanding why are you fighting in a weight class. Most people want to have muscles and be big and strong because they misinterpret what it takes to be a boxer. That's not the case, because guys are losing weight to fight down lower, but you can't be 20 pounds like professionals. You can't be 20 pounds over your weight and then cut weight, because when you go to tournaments, you have to lose weight every day because you have to weigh in every day that you win. You got to weigh in again the next day. So you got to learn the process of your physicals. You got to know how to really manage your weight. You have to have a team. You have to have different types of coaches around you. These different types of trainers are going to teach you how and groom you how to actually play the game. There are thousands of rules, not tens or 20s or hundreds, but there are thousands of rules collectively from amateur to pro that you have to learn about boxing, meaning the ring walk, what you got to wear, your mouthpieces, understanding the science behind how to choose mouthpieces and wrap the hands properly and to prevent knuckle damage. Because if you bust your knuckles up and get boxer's knuckle, forget about it. You won't have a career anyway. Floyd snuck by because he hurt his hand in his early on in his professional career, but he was too far in. You understand how to work around it. But when you're learning, it takes so many different years of grooming and getting used to the process and walking to the arena, understanding what to do when you walk up the steps, how to embody and acknowledge the judges, and knowing how the scoring system works. So over a period of time, you got to learn the objective of officials and how they think collectively. Each different type of official thinks a different way. And you can't just think they all gonna think, I like this kid, I'm gonna vote for this kid. There's a lot that goes into this. So we want all of you to really keep that in mind. And just basically the money, the funding, the travel, all of those things, you got to understand how this all happens. So becoming a professional prize fighter is a big undertaking, and it takes years. Some of you are reaching out, and I'm sure this guy was, because he was punching in his basement. And that's usually a sign that you don't even belong to a gym. You just want to become a prize fighter. And there are levels. Prize fighter starts here. There's what we call an opponent. All right. An opponent is a person that you just beat up on because he doesn't understand any of that stuff I just talked about. In knowing how to divide and pay people and get people money and sponsorships and all those things. You got to learn all of that. So if you don't know any of that stuff, forget about it. Don't even think about it. The next is the journeyman. He's a person that with some ability, but no real training and understanding of the game of boxing. He just goes from gym to gym, training, boxing different people, still thinking that his way can beat people. And it's not, because boxing is a system. And that's why skills you got to know, technique you got to know, but the understanding of what and how to actually win a fight against a person is a thing. And journeymen typically don't believe that. Then you got gatekeepers who actually have been surrounded by some people, but they're kind of on the downslope. Then from that point, and they're tough battles. So if you got a person that you have that's a prospect, you don't want to get them in there with a gatekeeper if they are not on their game, because a gatekeeper, someone will snub you. All right. Let's give you a name for an example. Right now, Adrian Broner is a world champion, but as of late, he's been more of a gatekeeper kind of guy. But he's not a gatekeeper stylistically, and because he's highly skilled, he's no gatekeeper. But when you get to a certain point in boxing and you don't see them beating the elitist of guys anymore, that's more of a gatekeeper. He can hold off guys, but he can't really beat them. I'm talking about real cats like Gervonta Davis. No one would put Adrian Broner as a victor over Gervonta Davis today. Why? Because you know what I'm saying? But if you put Gervonta in there with Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford, you know automatically Terrence Crawford and those guys win, because they're just bigger and better when it comes to being an elite guy. So next thing, here are the prospects are guys who been groomed, know how to go about it. Then they take these things into consideration. They got to know that there's sponsorships, because you need funding. You got to have a gym. You got to have funding. You got to have people who come on, just say, and they do affiliate stuff. They are wearing people's caps and jerseys and t-shirts, and they are prospect. People are looking at them and they want to put the shine on them, but you have to get to a status of contender, and then champion. So all of those are tiers. So if you want to be a prize fighter and you haven't had a serious amateur career to learn the sport of boxing and all of the stuff that goes on, all of the thousands of things that's happening periodically, then okay, that's on you. So that was the question. What are the hallmarks of the original turtle shell? I'm trying to find the connection between it and the peekaboo. Great question, Eastwood Boy. Thanks for tuning in out on YouTube. I see YouTube is really, really popping off right now. So thank you guys for taking the time. The difference is not. The turtle shell was designed to block through the forearm guard. All right. So even when I talk about the peekaboo and I'm here and I'm talking about it, J. Marie Moore, who has the right, is the daughter of Archie Moore, the old mongoose. And she tells me, Eric, that stuff is not the peekaboo. It's about peeping through the guard. All right. And you have to have strong form, because people are going to kick, and you can block. Bam. You can, for uppercuts, you can catch the hooks. It's a lot of different, but you got to know how to do it. And you can bing, bing, and you catch it and you go into the shell. Boom, Philly shell. That's why if you don't understand these techniques and things, and this peekaboo is about looking over the glove, being able to defend, right? But it's all peeping through, so you can see. This doesn't consider peekaboo. It's this where you're peeping off the glove and boom, boom, and you're looking, and it doesn't matter the motion. You just start tying those things. That's windshield wipers. Like I always try to tell people, come into the Top Trainer U program in the School of Boxing and learn the origin of boxing, because we are over 120 years in boxing knowledge and gangsterdom in this sport. So if you really want a true grasp on boxing, then learn from the historian in boxing, the program. And so we're choosing 3 people today to jump into that program for 4 entire weeks to see what we do, and for being boxing advocates and knowing enough to answer questions. So if you are just watching now, drop your name down in the comment box to one of these questions that's in the trivia, and increase your chances, because it's worth it. When you get into it, it's an education for boxing minds, and we create the boxing integrity for the sport. Knuckles, you got, let me see how many. Let me see. I see a bunch of, I like the Porter. He's a gatekeeper. No. He's a great fighter. No. I actually was called in to aid them into camp when he fought Errol Spence and stuff. And Sean Porter's a beast. He's not a gatekeeper. He won a title as of late. He beat Ugas, and he defended that title, and he beat Danny Garcia. He beat world champions, and he's a problem. No, he's no gatekeeper. He's a problem, but good example. Joe Frazier had the turtle style. All of those styles morphed off of the turtle shell, right? They morphed off of it. So any style that you utilize arms, hands, forearms to peep, those are all morphed out of that style. No one owns it. It's just who was the most successful doing it. Archie Moore. It wasn't Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson was great with what he did, but that was very short term. He did it more explosive than anybody ever and ever will do it. But Archie Moore perfected it and has more knockouts than any man will ever have, which is 141. Sometimes they got it on the record as 132, 139. Doesn't matter. Ain't nobody even close. Sugar Ray Robinson was 109 knockouts. And that wasn't even close. Like I said, he trumped that by 30 knockouts. So that's every man that's gotten in front of you. You've knocked them unconscious or beat them down to a point that they cannot continue. That's a serious thing. That tells you what style was the most effective. He fought well into his 40s, right? Well into his 40s, and was dominating cats. He dropped Rocky Marciano when he was in his prime. Couldn't finish him. It's a lot of different things, that tactics and things guys use to survive. And he did exactly. The knowledge carries from the old time fighters. Just make sure you guys take a look. Now, the next thing we're going to do is go into the fight show with the Fight Doctor. Man, this is going to be a segment for you all. So keep it locked. Enjoy this tape. I'm going to pop out for about 6 or 7 minutes. You take this. He's going to do the matchup between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Enjoy this. Hang tight. When we come back, we're going to close the show with some awesome information. What I'm going to do now is really give clarity as to what's going on. Simplify it like we do over at Master Boxing, so it's not confusing to you, the viewer of the major fight that's going down. First of all, when You are putting all of these techniques and skills in front of the fighters and these trainers that are coming out. It's very confusing on how to actually apply it. So I'm going to keep it simple. Deontay Wilder is a smaller guy when it comes down to the 6'9" Tyson Fury, 270 pounds on just a typical day. And that's in shape. Here are the golden rules of boxing. The first thing, with a slippery man that you cannot hit, your objective is to bring them to you so that you can walk them into punches. Because if you're chasing that guy down, he's going to make you look silly because he has the elusiveness. Now, what we're going to do is take a look at this training video. And as you'll see, some of the strategies that Malik Scott, former competitor of Deontay Wilder, is going to walk him through. Now, you're going to be, if you have your thinking caps on, you're going to see him do a couple of drills that you may have seen. They're familiar. Let's take it out and I'm going to walk you through and explain what's going on. He's giving him the slips right here. He's keeping his head moving and getting him under the hook. What that's doing is helping Deontay really get into the mindset of slipping anything that Tyson Fury throws at him. Let's see what else goes on in the next sector. A lot of throwing jabs, double jabs, creating the slips and stuff. So pay attention now. I want to give you a little insight too, to throwing the double jab. What has to happen when you got a guy like Tyson Fury in front of you? You want to make sure that that dude is not getting away from you. So one thing that I can see Malik Scott doing is he gave one quick segment of cutting off the ring. That should have been the mass of this. Because what's going on is fighters don't understand, and some of the newer trainers, because he was a fighter, he wasn't a trainer. Some of the newer trainers are in a position where, as you see right here, he's moving really good. But Deontay Wilder needs to be doing a constant ring, cut off the ring drill, because that takes muscle memory. This is a good segment, man, of boxing. If you guys are training, working, but just pay close attention to what you see and what I'm going to break down that really truly needs to happen as well. No count gives you everything, but you see he got very good sharp, he's throwing hard, sharp punches. I like the consistency because he's going to need his cardio in a certain place. The thing about this is this: when you get in those pads on your hand and that vest around your body, if you don't understand what the true algorithm should be of that fighter, when you're fighting a guy who's as elusive as Tyson Fury, you got to draw him to you. So you got to teach him how to work and go off of his back foot. I don't care what else you do. Everything else, like they always say, you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip because it's not there. So I don't care how hard you hit it or slice it or burst it, it's not going to bleed. The only thing's going to come out of it is turnip juice. But if you cut a human being or an animal, they'll bleed. This is the thing. You're trying to create something that's already been proven. He's already gone head up with Tyson Fury, right? I'm going to cut this very short because this breakdown is going to give you true insight. When you're trying to go head on with a man that's 40 pounds your weight disadvantage, you're going to have a very tough night unless you land the dynamite. Now, cutting off the ring will allow that to happen. But what about the other 85% of the fight that you have to actually get punches off as well to do damage? I love the double hook to the body. I love the jab and then follow it with a straight right. But the thing about this is it's all about not just consistency, but something happening. So you have to take a look at this.
the Ali drills. You have to pull a guy to you like Ali did, George Foreman like Ali did, Joe Frazier like Ali did, all of the guys, including Cleveland Williams. He pulled those guys to him, Sonny Liston, and he made them play their apple card. Boom, lights out with the 1-2. When you run a person into your punches, it hurts worse. The thing about it is this: taking those angles creates confusion, and it makes people who have very high IQs lose their composure. So the first battle is to get Tyson Fury to lose his composure. And if you're just fighting, that's not going to let that guy lose composure. The first fight, he won at least 8 rounds on most people's scorecard. Some people gave him 10 rounds, except for the 2 rounds that he got knocked down, and he actually came back and did good in that second fight. So I want you to be clear on this. In the first fight, he came back in the 12th round after being knocked out. This is important. Trainers, take this Bible. Whenever you are in a scenario with guys like Malik Scott, he's doing a lot of the drills that Roger Mayweather did, which tells me he watched a lot of Roger Mayweather video. The Black Mamba was great with mitts, but the Black Mamba had one of the most athletic boxers, pure mind thinkers in boxing history. Let's make that clear. I used to use some of the Mayweather boxing skill drills until I learned that you got to also learn and teach your fighter how to fight. When you got a prize fighter, you got to do what you need to do, not what you want to do. It looks like to me, it's a bunch of a new face to trainer algorithm from Malik Scott. Good drills. Thing about it, those are small man drills. Drills that you do with welterweights and middleweights and things like that. Heavyweight drills is different, and you got to be able to develop this guy's muscle memory for the fight. So, I'm going to make it clear from my opinion and what I see. And we know Shelly Finkel, this is a situation set up to be totally dominated by Tyson Fury, unless he gets caught and clipped with something. I see a couple of things materializing, but let's just say, hey, it looks like the strategy is lacking the most important thing, which is walking them into you. And that's how you deal with anybody that's slippery or stronger than you. You walk them into your punches, and that's off your back feet, like you see right here us doing. It's a reason why we do it. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. This is the power hand breakdown from the Real Fight Doctor. Peace out, guys. Enjoy the fight. Leave a comment. Peace.
Bam. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Just a little insight, a little something we knew we needed to put up and give you some perspective. Fight Doctor in the building, Real Fighter in the Fight Doctor in the building. What was your takeaway from that when it comes to, I love what Malik Scott's doing, but one thing is for sure, when you are in a fight against a guy and you've been working with fighters and you've been working corners and you understand styles, you can be working real hard. I think if he wins this fight, Malik Scott guides Deontay Wilder to win this fight, and he'll become the most sought after trainer, because I've seen him working. We're friends on Facebook, and he's a very in-depth. He gets in. He's in with both feet, and he's learning and picking up things. And I believe that if he continues to do that experience, no matter how much experience you got in fighting, when you're training, that's a different thing. So with experience, he's going to be really, really tough, because he's in. Like, you, as a trainer, you got to be in with your fighter. So with that being said, it's a powerful tool to have someone up there that's good like that. Let's announce some people that I see we're going to have as winners. So names on the board: Ty Foster is going to be admitted for an entire month into the school. Let me see. I love some of the things that I saw and some of the people. Demetrius, uh, Foreman of Shavers. Wow, that's a good one. Demetrius, we're going to give you admittance. So make sure you email us, and make sure that you email us at support@masterboxingllc.com. And I'll make sure that you are get that admittance into that program, because it's a thing. Charlie, we will connect with you as well. Try to messenger the page so we can give you access to the School of Boxing, the Top Trainer U program. So welcome for winning in the trivia. All of you guys have done. You did such an amazing job. Anthony Gambita from Louisville, Kentucky is in. He did a great job. I love several people who were on. Tim McNally, I got to actually put that in there. Tim McNally. Yeah, you guys spoke some good stuff today. Let me see. Eastwood, if you're watching still, Eastwood Boyd, you did a good job. And I got Demetrius already. So here we go. My guys, they're the other two that I chose. And it's a beautiful thing to see the game of boxing do what it's doing right now, and to have such amazing people locked and getting it in with us. And just so you know, when those styles match up and collide this weekend, because you know it's a big thing when the mainstream audience is paying attention. You got to pay attention to the details. So when you're learning boxing, keep these things in mind. Styles make fights. Understanding particular techniques and skills all come together to roll into one big ball. So footwork is important. When you're walking forward on a stronger fighter, it's not a good technique for victory. You're looking for the bomb. You're looking for the KO. You got to have footwork. You got to come off your back feet to set anybody up who's stronger than you for the power punch, or who's slicker than you. One of my questions was, how do you fight a slick fighter, a slippery fighter? Chris Bird, Floyd Mayweather, you bring them to you. You don't try to go get them, because they're masterful sciences in making you miss and making you pay. So you got to change that. And that's what I saw in Malik Scott. We talked to the handlers of Wilder last year, Shelly Finkel. And I'm telling you, those guys don't understand the style thing. And that's why when you get to the master's course in the School of Boxing, you get the playlist on your arm on how to deal with every style. So when you're working the corner, you understand how to pair those together. It's that serious. It's like a quarterback sleeve. So I'm looking forward to sharing it. For those of you who are learning and you're trying to progress, you got to get the skills right, because Tyson Fury is going to display a lot of stuff. He understands. He got the old school lineage behind him, plus his generational fighter. You got to have it all. So check out our footwork course. It's on sale, I think 30% off this weekend, even today for the big fight. When we have big fights, you can grab that. It's the footwork bundle, and you'll learn drop and rolls. You'll understand box steps, learning the pivot circuit. Pivot isn't just one thing. Pivot isn't just one way. You'll learn how to properly do the step around, how to hold your hands, and how to position your hands and elbows when you're doing the step around, and all of those things to keep you defensively responsible when you're doing that. So get that footwork. That is on special, and it's only going to be on special for a very short time for the guys to take advantage of it. Why? Because it'll all be going into our new website, and none of those individual downloads will be sold again at all. Yeah, at all. All of that's going away. You have to be, it's only going to be for the people. So it's proprietary after that point. So take advantage. Make sure you get on board. And if you're looking for anything, direction and guidance, that's what we're going to give you, man. But y'all enjoy this fight this weekend. Take advantage of knowing what's going to happen. Drop your prediction. This is the prediction segment. So drop your predictions in the comment box below. And who will win this fight? Who will win this fight this weekend? Fury or Wilder? My people, drop it in the comment box. We want you on the record so we can definitely hold you accountable next week when this thing goes on and we do the live post-fight show. It's going down. That's all I got for right now. Oh, you got to use the code for the Footwork, WBC30. Sorry, I almost forgot. 30 is the promo code to get it for 30% off. Use that, WBC30. WBC30. Check it out, man. That footwork is masterful. The fight is going to be great. Once again, we thank you for taking the time to hang out with us in the fight show. Continue blessings for all of you out in YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't. If you're on Facebook, follow the page. We got it locked on boxing. I'll see you soon for the post-fight in the winner's circle. And shouts out to my brothers in the School of Boxing. Class is always in session at Top Trainer U. We keeping it locked. Let me see this last comment my man got. Paul. Oh, you got to get that. That goes up on the page, brother. You got to know me. Y'all got to drop y'all predictions. Peace out, brother. Much love. School of Boxing. Top Trainer U.